request the executive member to please start with the activity.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. I welcome Dr. Bhabha sir and Dr. Ansari to this event. So for many people, science is a dull, dry and boring subject, agree? Yes. But the truth is that science opens our mind, it broadens our perspective and makes every individual a thinker, an observer, an analyst, and develops scientific attitude, which when used in a constructive way, it can serve humanity. So we, the members of Science Math Club, are extremely excited to organize 3 sessions. Today, Ms. Shreya Shilsa, Ms. Ashlesha Pujara, Ms. Gayatri Muthuswamy and Ms. Neelu Mishra will talk about the nuclear science and its status in India. Tomorrow, 18th October and day after tomorrow, that is 19th October, we are going to have hands-on activity in astronomy. So buckle up for this exciting ride and we are going to take you to the wonderful world of science. Yes, on 19th October. On 19th October, the activity is going to take place on terrace.
Good afternoon, everyone. So you all must have heard this name, Dr.Homi Bhabha. How many of you all know him or have heard about him? Okay, can someone say what they know about him? Does anybody want to try? Something in school, GK? Come on, future teachers. The reason why it is so important to celebrate this day is because he did so many things for the academics in India. We consider him to be just a scientist, but I believe he was a teacher as well because he did a lot. Can you all guess something? Yes? Very good. Homi Bhabha scholarships. Very good. Anything else? Universities? Yes. Bark? Yes. Very good. Something towards nuclear. Yeah. So he is known as the father of India's nuclear program. Okay. I'll show one clip. So one thing I'll like to say today is that a lot of photos and pictures that we are going to use today, they are all black and white because it was in the 1940s, 50s. But there was this TV series called as Rocket Boys, and they depicted his entire life series, his and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So I'll just show some pictures over here. It will be nice. Okay.
So where's your time from? I don't remember. Broad issues. Yeah, fine. Well, I think from Italian. Yeah, I can watch. It's probably Swiss. Am I right? Yeah, you are. और सिर्फ ये luxury items नहीं, वो table, ये rug, वो projector, मेरी tie, मेरा jacket, and my belt is also important.
Homi, what is your point?
साइकिल से लेकर स्विंग मशीन तक, everything's from a foreign country. हम यहाँ पे कुछ बनाते हैं, और मैं इसे बदलना चाहता हूँ.
What did you get a gist? Something you understood. What did he do? Who was he truly? The entire revolution of nuclear power which took place during that time, it was around the time when India was getting its freedom. And it's really a very beautiful story about how he was able to make so many changes because we were still colonized at that point of time. Our freedom struggle was still, in spite of that, we had such a great mind amongst us. He was a true visionary. He saw what was there in the future and he did what was required for India. He never did it for himself. And that is the reason why we all should celebrate, his birthday. And the birthday is on 30th October. We are celebrating it today. So, this is a very famous photo you all must have seen. Now everybody click, yeah, you all remember very well, yes. fundamental research. He was the main pioneer behind starting this whole thing. So Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, the main idea behind starting this institute was that in India, we did not have laboratories where people could actually perform their experiments. Whatever things existed, we believed that apparatuses were there and the researchers would just have to practice, but they were not given the opportunity to create something new. That's why TIFR is considered to be his brainchild, because it was completely revolutionizing India at that point of time with respect to the nuclear programs. So he belonged to a very well-to-do family in Mumbai. His father was a lawyer, his grandfather was also a barrister, his mother was a philanthropist, and his brother Jamshed Bhabha, he is the founder, chairperson and the longest serving chairperson of NCPA. What is NCPA? No, I need someone raise their hand and answer. Anybody else? Art students? Yeah, yes, performing arts. So you all can see like the entire family is very, intelligent, established. He did his schooling in Bombay, he studied in Elphinstone College and then he went to Cambridge University. So like every other parent in India during that point of time, his family just wanted him to get a degree in mechanical engineering and then go ahead and then get a job. And there was a job at Tata Steel. During that time, Tata Steel was a very renowned company and they wanted him to do his engineering and get a job over there. And he did so. But when he was over there in Cambridge, he realized that his true calling was science, where he didn't have to do just engineering. He realized that engineering is just, for a job for him at that point of time. He knew he had to do something more. When we speak about passion, he was passionate about something else and he realized. So this is what he told his parents and it's very beautiful. Just read the way you can understand how he truly felt for science, for physics at that point of time. I am burning with the desire to do physics. And when you feel something so much inside you, you know nothing can stop you. So what his father did? He spent money to send his son to Cambridge. He said that you're not coming back without getting a degree. Only if you promise that you get a first class in mechanical engineering, then I definitely allow you to pursue whatever you want to do. So we all would have gotten scared. We would have been like, how do you get first class in Cambridge? But he was so intelligent. He was passionate. Like we have learned so much in learning teaching. Passion, motivation. He was motivated. He got his first class and he went ahead. He started with his degree, his doctorate. And this picture, so she is Queen Elizabeth I, Queen Mother. So she was the one who conferred the title to him and he got it in, his doctorate was in nuclear physics, of course. And this was all during the time of World War. India was still fighting, freedom struggle was still going on. And he came back for a vacation from Cambridge, but because of the World War II, which started, he couldn't go back again. So he was in India. So during that time, he did a thing which was called as a reader. So we as teachers, future teachers should know. So he became a reader at IISc Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science. So who is a reader? The reader at that point of time, so please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure about right now, but they are like a professor only. But they look at the scholarly articles and everything. So he had that level, so he used to work over there and he was under C.V. Raman. How many of you all know about C.V. Raman? More hands. Okay, very good, yeah. He was there. This is a very amazing photo. If you see, that's Homi Bhabha and here you can see C.V. Raman. Okay? So there are a lot of great people working together in one place. And this is where he met his friend, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. Who's Dr. Vikram Sarabhai? Anybody else? See, I know that this is science, but this is GK also, okay? So, you all should know. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai is the father of space program. We all have been to Nehru Science Center 6-7 times now. There is an entire wall dedicated to him, okay? Okay, come on, yeah. So Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he started what? Which is the main space program in India? ISRO, very good. Who will get the full form of ISRO? Very good, thank you, Alina. Very good, yes. Yeah. So basically, they met together. together. They met at IIC Bangalore. Vikram Sarabhai was around 10-11 years younger than him, so he looked at Homi Bhabha like a mentor to him, and he was busy making rockets, constantly making rockets. And both of them saw a vision for India. They were not mere students. You know, when I read about them so much, I realized that they didn't study and they didn't want to do something for fame or to get good grades. They saw it as something that actually benefit the nation. And I personally felt that there was a lot of time for me to reach there, but you know, they were so selfless. That's why I consider them to be the true patriots of India. You know, they are to be studied not as just scientists, but it's much more than that. So he's here with, can anybody guess who he is? Very good, very good. So he's here with J.R.D. Tata. And so what happened was that when he was working, like studying, working at IIC Bangalore, he realized that all these labs are made and you are just going over there, you are doing some experiments, but where does a scientist truly learn? When he is given the opportunity of barren place and he creates something. So where does he create things? So he needed a place where good quality laboratories are present. And at that point, J.R.D. Tata was extremely influential. He had a lot of money. So he requested to him that please do something to improve the main science scene. You know, the scene of science in India was very weak. We were not discovering things. We were like, you all saw in the first video that I showed. A lot of things that we were doing was just copy pasting from what we learned from the West. We needed to discover something in India, and that's why with his help, they were able to launch TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. So this was him. He was he was known to be a very charismatic man. He liked to pose. If you see, he had a different attitude. You know, it was not just of a scientist. He thought differently. And also another remarkable thing, he never married. He never had any other personal relation because he was just dedicated. He knew that he couldn't think about anything else apart from his work and apart from India. So, and at that point, our great Prime Minister, we had Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, and he saw the potential in Homi Bhabha. So, what do you all know which happened, the event in the 1940s, which was related to something nuclear? What happened? Something related to a nuclear energy. क्या हो गया? 1940s. Yeah, let them. Okay, what happened? History students, 1940s, 1945. What happened? Why is 1945 such a remarkable year in the entire globe? What was so important?
I think World War ended and there was this attack at Hiroshima.
So how many of you all feel that nuclear energy is safe? Sir, not safe. Is nuclear energy safe?
So if it is used for good purpose, it is safe.
Very good,
If it is
yes.
used for dangerous
Correct.
purpose, it is not safe.
So at that point, people were very scared because they only knew nuclear energy as a nuclear bomb. Okay, they saw how Japan evaporated. Forget about getting burned. It evaporated because of the bomb. So that's why people were very scared. And when Homi Bhabha came up with the idea, they'll elaborate further about how the fission happens. All details will be told later. But when the idea came that India can also create bombs, Homi Bhabha was completely glued to it. He said that India is getting its freedom right now. We will not allow her to ever get colonized or face any other problems in any war. And he said that's why we need to create such a strong nuclear program in India with strong weapons that we are always grounded. So that's why he wanted to start this nuclear program, and he was given he was the head of the Indian nuclear program, and he was given the permission to start the nuclear. And this was at AET, which is now known as BARC. BRC is Bhabha Atomic Research Center. So this was a place where they used to conduct, but this design which you see, that layout, that is actually of TIFR. It is not the BARC one. And it was a very big thing at that point of time in 1955, just in less than 8 years. In 8 years of India getting her freedom, we had a person from India who was the president of the United Nations Conference on the Peaceful Uses of Atomic Energy, and it's a very huge deal. He became the president, and he was the one who just just think about it, 7 years only since India's independence, and we were already at that state to actually talk about peaceful relations by using nuclear weapons. So what do you all think? Right now you know so much happened with the Russian war. Can anyone tell me why it started? What was the main thing? Like which country got agitated that Russia was trying to do something? What happened in this war? Anybody wants to try here?
Russia didn't want to join, but they want Ukraine to join NATO. And
NATO?
Russia felt like USA kind of following it from the other
Yes,
side.
correct, very good. So what exactly happened over here? There was one country who was trying to gain a little bit of dominance and the other country did not like. So if we are creating nuclear weapons, do you think that the other countries will just sit over there and be like, okay, let's support India? Okay, that didn't happen. And which is a country you all know which gets irked the most whenever USA, yeah. Do you think USA always gets very agitated? So USA is still right now, currently, if you see, the highest in the nuclear energy. They are using nuclear energy, electricity also. So even now, USA is the highest, and they do not really allow anybody else to beat their level. So that's why there was a lot of I would say problems that people had with the way how India was, progressing so well. India was progressing so well in this field, and many other countries were not really happy about it. Then this is one very great incident which depicts the friendship of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr.Homi in Bhabha. So, how many of you all have watched a rocket launch? We had gone to NSC, we saw an entire show on rocket launch. So you all saw that there are a lot of calculations that keep happening, correct? And how does rocket launch happen? Just simple words. Just anybody wants to try? Do people do it, or does the machine do it, or does it happen magically whenever time sets off? Machines. Even manually, but manually they don't do that. Okay, so what do they do? What did we see in that documentary? Even if it's a wrong answer, it's okay. Say it. Yes.
The exciting thing was how they were floating and how they were trying to capture your food and
Yeah. So that is when it's a manned rocket. Okay, so this was when they were trying to launch. So what did I say about Dr. Vikram Sarabhai? He wanted to put India in the space level. So there was one working on the nuclear part, there was somebody else in the space program. So they wanted to launch this rocket, and imagine how they were taking the rocket. They actually took it manually, and these are real images. They took it on cycle, on a bullock cart. That is how rockets were taken. Because at that point, India didn't have that. We didn't have the money, we didn't have the facilities, and people didn't believe that, ऊपर छोड़ने के लिए इतना पैसा. That is the mindset people had. They didn't believe what could actually be achieved by this. So this is how it happened. If you see, actually we have Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam also. He was an intern who was working under Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So again, there is another great personality. The entire life, if you see, it's all rotated around how these great scientists were together. And they actually launched this rocket manually. Can you believe it? So I'll show a video because, so again, it's from the series, but it's really beautiful to see how determined they were.
Mechanism operates. Right?
So in this video, if you see, he is Dr. Homi Bhabha, and the man you saw before, he was Vikram Sarabhai. Okay?
Then we can make exception. We cannot launch something without operating. It is impossible, sir.
Everything is
But
impossible.
we can. If we do it manually. Until it is done. We're going to launch the rocket manually. We just need to rig it and bring it to 80 degrees. Yes, so we can do it. It has to be precise, but we can do it. Precisely. What do you all think? Do you all with me? Sir, हम rocket manually उठाएंगे? अगर हम rocket को बैगड़ी पे transport कर सकते हैं, तो रस्सियों से खींच के उसे उठा भी सकते हैं. This is what we are going to do, gentlemen. I know that, sir, but sir, let's just wait. क्योंकि अगर फेल हो गया तो सारी दुनिया के सामने हमारा मजाक बन जाएगा. वो तो अगर हमने लॉन्च कैंसिल किया तब भी मैंने तुमसे ज़्यादा आप सबकी काबिलियत पर भरोसा है. मैंने हार मानूंगा मैं आप किसी को मान send this rocket right where it goes, up in the sky beyond the stars. I'm going to see that sodium vapor cloud tonight.
And he's
Are you okay?
Yes,
Are you ready for this launch? Yes. Let's get to work.
So you can compare this with the video. Remember we watched on NSC, so think how it's being done here.
On your cloud, Rocky! Go, son of mine! Your baby! Your cloud! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3!
I think we'll do. Shall we fire up this time?
Let's do that. Kalam! Clear the field! We're ready for the launch!
Everything is not available. Everything is actually So, when you all could see how Indians. So you can see how Indians were so jugadu at that point of time. And we were able to do it. So what do you think was a learning lesson from this entire thing? You focused on one sentence he said at that point of time, Dunya hum par hasegi. India has always been at the main point where people are judging us. People want to see us fail. But luckily, we have never failed because we all see the great minds that we have always had, the motivation they have always had. And even when something so big happened like the rig failing, they did not give up at that point of time. So this was a beautiful friendship that they shared. This was at Tumba, the rocket which was launched. It was in Tiruvananthapuram, and it was when India left its mark. Like the minute this rocket was launched, the entire world's focus was on India, and they respected us further, knowing that okay, they can also do something. We are so freshly, we have received freedom, and still we have the ability to do that. So what else India can do? So there are many great contributions that they have done, both of them, especially Dr.Homi Bhabha. So this is the one I was telling you all, that as teachers we should know that this is a scholarship which is given. In many of your schools you all must have known that people are giving Homi Bhabha exams, so you all get scholarship. So you all can see about how even after he left us, he left his legacy. And many of these institutes, even at BRC, TIFR, students get a lot of scholarships continuously because of the great man that he was. In 1966, we lost him in an air crash. So like I said that USA at that point of time was very irked because they were the main head of nuclear power, nuclear energy. And when they came to know that there was a man in India who was launching a nuclear program and there was a space program happening side by side, they were not really happy about it, I would say. And many times this is considered to be a controversy and people feel that these are just theories, conspiracies. But I don't believe in it. I feel we should accept what was a reality, because there was proof which was found later, and it is said that CIA did play a role in the entire crash, because instead of it being just an air crash, there was a bomb which was found in the plane later, and there was proof of that. So yeah, that is one thing I would say which really upsets me, that something like this was happening. Just imagine if he could have given 10 more years or even 15 years, what else could he have done? Just with those few years that he was here, the amount of help that he did for this nation is just immeasurable over here. He was also a botanist. He loved to sing. He was a painter. He had other hobbies as well. And like we said, that BRC, the old name was changed to BRC because of his contributions. So today I would just like to say that he was a man of integrity who always put the service to the nation before himself, and throughout his life he only worked for the country. All that he did, the nuclear program, the BRC TAF, the amount of things he has done for India, it's something which is, we cannot ever compare it with anybody else's. And the reason why I feel so personally about talking about him is that we as teachers don't understand the luck, the good, area, the amount of blessings we have that we are born with, that we get the opportunity to use science laboratories. We have so many foundations and organizations which was actually created by a lot of people. And many a times we fail to appreciate the efforts taken by the scientists. Whenever we study in schools, we rarely remember the scientists, sadly. Like today, in the first 5 minutes, I could make that out. So it's important that we remember them, because they are not just scientists, but they are patriots who did a lot for the nation. So think about them as an Indian rather than just thinking about them like a teacher or a student of science. And this is a very good thing that he said, which we should remember. But each man can do best and excel in only that thing of which he is passionately fond of. So if you have your passion in it, you will be able to do it. You are destined to achieve, and he was able to do that. And he was able to do that for many more people after him also.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This quote reminds of classical theory
Yes,
of
sir.
self-actualization.
Yes. Today, when the world is divided on the issue of the nuclear energy, with the superpowers adopting double standards and other countries pursuing policies with vested interests, Bhabha's life should be a shining example and a token of peace and development in the present nuclear life and nuclear age. So with that, I would like to conclude with today's presentation from my end. Now we'll have more detailed things about the reactors and the power plants. So thank you so much.
So Dr.Homi Bhabha was, I'm sorry for this, I'm going to roll now. So Dr.Homi Bhabha, as a child, he had a very active brain, okay? And I know that each one of us possesses this, even though we don't want to admit that towards science we might not have an inclination. But like Rajiv sir has told us, that there is never zero interest in anything. So for now, for this segment, I would like to kind of call out to the scientist that is present in each one of you, and you all don't know. You all are the relevant. Okay? So yeah. Okay, so for this segment, I want you all to put on your abstract thinking hats, because nuclear physics is something which is not very concrete. It isn't something which is very concrete, but you have to use your abstract thinking, you have to use your critical thinking and your imagination to actually visualize what is happening. So before I begin, I want to ask you all, and I don't want the science students to answer on mathematics, how small do you think an atom is? And the one who sat for my lecture also won't answer. Yes, sorry. Yes, exactly. You can't see with your naked eyes. Any other answer? Any other answer? Okay. So the atom, like Alina rightly said, it is very, you can't see with your eyes. To help you visualize how small an atom actually is, you all have used the 15 centimeter scale, right? For drawing and everything. 1 centimeter on that. I want you to consider 1 centimeter on that. How small is that? Very tiny, right? Now, break this 1 centimeter into 1 lakh equal pieces. one piece from those 1 lakh pieces and further divide it into 1000 equal pieces. That is how small an atom actually is. Now, so now to give you an idea how small, so these atoms are basically the fundamental units of all matter in the entire universe. Okay, they are the building blocks. But there is something which goes beyond an atom called subatomic particles, and something which goes beyond these subatomic particles which we will not study here. Okay, now because my specialization wasn't particle physics. Okay, so to give you an idea, you know the basic structure of the atom. Anybody tell me, non-science students? Yes, isn't it? Right? Excellent. Asta? Okay. So at the center, clap these claps for her. She's retaining her science knowledge. So at the center of the atom, you have a tiny positively charged nucleus, which is composed of positively charged particles called protons and neutral particles called neutrons. And around this nucleus, we have a lot of empty space. Okay? And then beyond that empty space, we have these electrons which are orbiting around the nucleus. Now, to give you an idea how small the nucleus is, I want you to imagine the atom as a football stadium or a cricket stadium. Okay? And the nucleus would be the football at the center of the stadium. That is how small the nucleus actually is. Okay? Now, you must be, I know this question has come to your mind, but I'm going to speak about nuclear energy. So, how do we harness energy? How do we power these fans? This AC is not working. But how do we power appliances? How do we harness energy from something so tiny? You ever think about this? What do we mean when we talk about nuclear energy? How can we harness energy from something so tiny?
Think about certain superhero movies that we have watched. Think about certain superhero movies. There is a lot of nuclear energy, fissions, all these words are being used. So now think and then answer.
Okay, so basically, so does anyone want to
Not sure, but it's the atom that they have very high speed.
Okay.
So I remember the other example when the case was the atoms are like fast. So I think it's the same thing.
Yes, that is a good attempt, but we are not talking about atoms here, we're talking about nucleus here. Okay, so when we speak about atomic energy, in fact, when Shreya spoke about the atomic energy, which started by Dr.Homi Bhabha, atomic energy basically means energy of the nucleus. Okay, what the forms are, we'll discuss about that. Now, you all have heard this famous equation E is equal to mc squared. Yeah, can anyone tell me what it is? Like, what does it represent in your own words? You can answer.
Okay, so E is equal to mc square is basically the conversion of matter into energy. This formula is very famous. Like Albert Einstein is known for this formula. You will see poster of Albert Einstein next to E is equal to mc square. So E there stands for energy, M is mass, and C is velocity of light.
Excellent, thank you, Dr. So when Einstein gave this equation E is equal to mc squared, he basically spoke about mass-energy equivalence. That means energy can be not converted, but it can represent mass, and mass can be represented as energy. Okay, so we will see how exactly we harness so much energy, much more than thermal power plants, wind power plants, solar power plants, much more than the conventional power plants. We get a lot of energy from nucleus. Okay, so when we speak about the nucleus, first of all, these are the three main sources. There are more sources, but these are the three sources which are mostly used all over the world. We have uranium, we have thorium, and we have plutonium. So these are basically radioactive elements. That means they possess the ability to emit radiation. Okay? Why do they emit radiation? The simple funda, I'm going to simplify this a lot. The simple funda is that the nucleus becomes too heavy. Okay? And because the nucleus is made up of positively charged particles, protons, and neutral particles, neutrons, so we have this thinking that positive repel each other, right? So how is the nucleus still there? That is because of something called strong nuclear force. But when your nucleus size increases a lot, this strong nuclear force is not strong enough to hold the nucleus together. And that is when your nucleus breaks or fissions. Okay? Now, we have a lot of reserves of thorium in India. Okay? And keeping this in mind, Dr. Bhabha developed a 3-step nuclear program, which I will talk to you about. And uranium is basically the ideal fission material because it is very easy and very convenient to actually harness nuclear energy from this particular element. And then we have plutonium. So I'll talk about how what the basic reaction in the nuclear fission reactor is. So this is your nucleus of uranium. Okay? I won't talk about the numbers, I won't talk about anything. This is the nucleus of uranium. Okay? We have a very fast particle, a neutron, which is incident, which falls on it. Okay? Now what happens is the nucleus was initially somewhat stable. Of course it was decaying, but its decay rate is very slow. When I add an additional particle into its nucleus, it becomes unstable. Okay? When it becomes unstable, it can't hold the nucleus together. In that case, it breaks into two different elements. Okay? These two different elements are released. Along with this, a lot of energy in the form of heat and radiation is released. And we harness this heat energy. And it is a lot of energy. Okay? So we have two different elements released, we have energy released, and we have three more neutrons. So these are the products of the nuclear fission. I hope this much is clearly out in this. Okay. So we have two different elements. We have energy and we have three different neutrons. Now, these three neutrons further react with similar uranium atoms. Okay, because in one particular substance there won't be just a single atom, right? There are millions and billions of atoms. So these three neutrons would then interact with the other uranium atoms present in the material, and it would be a chain reaction, like the falling of dominoes. It would be a chain reaction. Now, when this chain reaction is controlled, that means these you're getting only certain amount of uranium atoms or uranium nuclei getting divided. That is the safe nuclear energy. But when the reaction is uncontrolled, when there is no control on how many uranium atoms or uranium nuclei are being divided, that is what is a nuclear bomb, okay, or an atomic bomb. So the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima was a uranium bomb, and the bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki was a plutonium bomb. Okay? So this is the basic functioning of the basic reaction in a nuclear power reactor. Okay, so this is how the nuclear power reactor looks like. This is basically your cooling towers. Okay, so I'll just explain the working very simple manner. Okay, yeah. So basically, like I said, we take uranium. Okay, let's consider uranium. We take uranium. We make a neutron incident on that uranium nucleus. The nucleus splits into two different nuclei. Energy is released in the form of heat. That heat energy is kind of transported to the water, okay? And that water is not some ordinary water. It is heavy water. Is basically, you all know the chemical formula of water, H2O, right? So hydrogen has a heavier form of its own called deuterium, okay? So basically, when your oxygen reacts and forms a compound with deuterium, that is called heavy water. It's D2O, okay? So we won't go to the details of that, but that water is passed through the reaction chamber. That water, because the heat energy is so high, the water is converted into steam, very high temperature steam, and that steam is allowed to pass through a turbine. You know what a turbine is, right? Very good.
Swadesh, you must have seen
Yeah.
turbine.
Yeah. So the steam spins the turbine, and behind the turbine we have magnets attached, and a change in magnetic field induces electricity in the surrounding coil. This was studied in wind power. I don't really remember. But that is the basic function. The basic functioning is that when a nucleus fissions, the energy is used to spin a turbine, and because of the spinning of turbine, we get electricity. Okay? So this was the basic function. So if anybody asks you in future, how does a nuclear power plant work, I'm sure you'll be able to say at least something. Okay? Now, there is another kind of reaction which happens in the nucleus called nuclear fusion. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me what you heard of it? Yes. So nuclear fusion is a process where two light elements combine to give you a heavy element, and this happens in the sun. Okay, the heat energy, the light energy that you're getting from the sun, it is the product of nuclear fusion happening in the sun. So nuclear fusion holds much more potential compared to nuclear fission. But the problem is there are many problems associated with nuclear fusion reactors. The main problem is that when you are working, when you are actually fusing two nuclei, you need a lot of temperature, millions of degrees of Celsius. Okay? And I won't go into further of this. I think I'll stop here. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, all of you. So I'm going to discuss about the nuclear power plants in India. To begin with, in 1948, for the further research in atomic energy, the Atomic Energy Commission was established in 1948. So the first chairman of this commission was Mr. Dr.Homi Bhabha. So it was initially under the Department of Science and Research. So later they decided that it should not come under any ministry. So the Atomic Energy Commission should directly have a governing body which is the in connection with the atomic energy. So in 1954 they created one more department, that is the Department of Atomic Energy. So in 1958 the Atomic Energy Commission was under the governing body of Department of Atomic Energy. So for the development of atomic energy department, they needed students and scientists to do more researches, and for the machineries they needed machine industries. So for each functioning of these, so they needed separate departments. So under the Department of Atomic Energy, the first comes the apex body, that is the Atomic Energy Commission, and after that there are different research centers, for example the PRC and IJCAR, and there are industrial organizations for the machineries and the public sectors, for example NPCIL and the Bhavini. We are going to discuss deeply about the NPCIL, and there are also some service organizations. So speaking about the NPCIL, NPCIL is the Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. So basically all the nuclear power plants in India comes under the NPCIL. So the motto of NPCIL is atoms in service of the nation. So how the nuclear energy can be used to serve the nation. So basically the nuclear power plants in India comes under this organization. So generation of electricity from the nuclear power plants. Next, for the regulation of the safety measures, there is one more board known as the AERB, that is the Atomic Energy Regulation Board, so which ensures that no harm is done to the humans or the environment by the use of nuclear power. So we can see the different nuclear power plants in India. So there are total 7 nuclear power plants in India which have 21 nuclear reactors in it. So nuclear reactors, we just saw how it works. So there are 21 of them in these 7 nuclear power plants. So these are the 7 power plants in India. First is the Cardinal Atomic Power Station, which was started in 1993. It is in Gujarat, and it is under all these. You can see all the nuclear power plants are under NPCIL. Okay, and this is the amount of power that is generated. Those are in megawatts. Next is the Kalpakkam Atomic Power Station. It started in 1984, Tamil Nadu. Next one is the Narora Atomic Power Station, started in 1991 in Uttar Pradesh. So for all these three, the capacity is 440. And the fourth one is the Cardinal Nuclear Power Plant, which was started in 2000 in Karnataka. Next one is the Rajasthan Atomic Power Station, started in 1973, Rajasthan. The capacity is little bit more, it is 1180. And next one is the Tarapur Atomic Power Station, which was started in 1969. Many must be knowing it is in Maharashtra. Its capacity is 1400. And the very latest one, that is Kudinkulam Nuclear Power Plant, it started in 2013. There was many appeals for this opening of this nuclear power plant because people are very scared about what if any natural disaster occurs and the nuclear power plant may burst. So at that time, Mr. Dr. APJ Kalam personally aware the people around that village. The capacity is maximum because it is the very latest nuclear power plant opened. So what is 1 megawatt? So we saw the capacity of these power stations was in megawatt. So using 1 megawatt, 1.2 months of power for an average. This is for US home. Basically, they use more electronic appliances, so they require more power. But this is for us. We use hours in kilowatts. Okay, so you can see the difference. It can almost run for a year. Then you can use 2 refrigerators for a year in 1 megawatt and 3,600 miles driven by an electric car. So you can imagine how huge is 1 megawatt, and 260 watt bulbs can be run with a non-stop for a year. So this is how huge megawatt is. So why we are awareing about the nuclear power plant? What is the reason behind that? Instead of using other power plant, why nuclear power plant is given importance? Other than science students. Yes, it is a very clean form of energy. The carbon emission is very low compared to the other power generation plants. So this you can see the capacity factors of different power plants. Capacity factor is nothing but the maximum output getting from a power station for a given time period. So the time period is common for all these power stations, but the maximum you can see the output is from the nuclear power station. So this is the one of the main reason why nuclear power plants are given more importance compared to other. So second comes with geothermal. So maximum is for nuclear power plant. So we can get maximum output from there. Next, these are the pros and cons. So nuclear power plant is the carbon emission in nuclear power plant is comparatively less than any other power plant. That is the first and foremost pro of the nuclear power plant. Next is the fuel efficient. It is resilient in times of extreme weather. So there are double protective layers for the reactors to protect it from any natural disasters. And job intensive, there are lots of job opportunities. And next is the low operating cost. So it might not be renewable, but it is very cost efficient. Now we'll go to the cons of the nuclear power station. Everybody knows it is the radiative. The substance which are used in a nuclear power plant is very radiative. So that is the first and foremost con of a nuclear power station. No good solution for disposing of radioactive waste. Next is the non-renewable fuel resources. So these fuels cannot be, for example, thorium. That at one moment the sources which we get, that is thorium or uranium, can stop. So it is not a renewable resource of energy. So this is all about the nuclear power plant. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So everybody is awake or sleep?
So any feedback like regarding this session? Like how did you like, even if you got something about just about what is nuclear fusion, big terms, but at least something that you got other than the science and math student. Satya.
So like how doing more videos and pictures, so you're paying attention, and it's easier like explaining from like how the whole process, like how the bombs are rocket. Maybe you can remember those like because even no matter how much you try to explain with words and drawing, but
The rocket launch is, I would say, one of the most unbelievable things for me. Like I had to read over multiple journals and videos to believe that Indians actually did that. Like हाथ से pull करके ऊपर rocket भेजा था हमने वो time पे. So yeah, like you said, it's something which was a very different thing. Also, I learned a lot about atomic power. Now, when you all become teachers and students are going to ask, because nuclear energy is the tomorrow, it is the future of the nation. We cannot only teach them about solar energy. Yes, those things exist, windmills exist, but you have to know, because a child is going to ask you, the nuclear reactor kya hai, what is this? So you also need to know who it came from, and as teachers especially also know the contributions of Dr. Homi Bhabha, because he was a true patriot who did a lot for our country and for the students. So yeah, that's about it. But yeah.
Nowadays, like 80 degree, like on the rocket, so that is where the heat was.
Yeah, no, that's neither. Yeah, they were just trying to get the inclination. The green was. Yeah.
And even he was, tightening the
Tightening
bolts.
the bolts.
Mr. APJ Kalam, he was doing the same thing. When the inclination was appropriate, he started. So now we are going to start with the quiz. And you go down. Yes, you can.
I want to just share my experience because during my second year I visited Cardinal power plant. So there they already discussed, they showed everything about how they function. And one important thing I remember is now that what is said that if some kind of natural disaster like earthquake will come, so they have made such kind of system if they will detect the earthquake or any other natural disaster, the whole system will get shut off.
Yes.
And no kind of damage will occur to the reactors and all. So that one thing I remember till now and I liked it very much. So yeah, that I want to share.
And that's the pros, as she discussed, right?
Yes. I have a question. So, you have already been connected to a negative aspect, right?
Yes.
So, it was, I want to know the history. It was
It was supposed to see. I tell you one thing. When we were in the Stone Age, what happened with the stone? You used it to hit someone. Doesn't mean that now you don't use stones. So whenever human beings we are destructive. That is one thing we should know. Man is a very destructive person. Okay. Whenever we get any weapon, we think of protecting ourselves, and that is exactly what we did with nuclear fusion, nuclear power also. We did not think about the ways it can be positive. We thought that look at the energy and we used it as a bomb. So like you said, first it was weaponized. We realized how good it is. Yes, we humanized it. Yes, weaponized to humanize. And India was able to, like India never planned on weaponizing it. The idea was to humanize, but he knew that we had to weaponize it. That's why we have now nuclear weapons.
Yeah, so just to add to the debate, like how do you know that for cancer treatment, nuclear physics actually so in a very constructive way. So there's this treatment that we call, so this radiation therapy is nothing but using nuclear physics. No, chemo is different from the radiation therapy.
So everyone just quickly sign in now.
Chemo is chemical. Chemo is chemical.
I just want to share something about 4 years ago. We both have gone to Bhabha Atomic Research Center at Bombay with our B.Ed students, and there we have launched the rocket.
Sir, we also want to go.
We will go, and I thought we should get permission. All those things we need to have. Once we will get, we will take everybody over there for the whole day. This is what I want to share. So actually you can see over there, and one of our students, Rajshri, so what was the name of that girl? Rajshri that she had launched the rocket. So we both were there at that time. So we really have seen how we can do it. Putti Shankaran, yes. So we will take them to talk to them. Don't worry, we will give you.
So class, now everyone get ready for the quiz. Just sign email.
Get set, go.
Yes. Sir, email.
Expert at
Even that science people can. It's for everyone.
It's based on today's session, so everyone can join. No science logic, no math logic. Whatever happened today is based on that. Assessment.
I should put cage over it.
So now no more entries. Let's start with this.
Very good, everybody was paying attention.
Shreya cheating. I caught you. Shreya, I caught you.
Father of Indian nuclear bomb.
He was there. He was there.
So I hope you all enjoyed this session. Now I would like to call our principal sir to say a few words on this event and how it was organized.
Good afternoon, friends. And my dear friend, Dr. Ansari. Let me first congratulate Dr. M.A. Ansari for receiving a letter from University of Mumbai, being recognized as Professor in Education. So now, at Bombay Teachers Training College, except two faculty members, all of us are professors. So I'm very happy to share it with you, and you wanted to clarification on this. When we both joined PTTC, he joined I think 1 year prior to me, but he was, and we were introduced on the same day. When the NOC came from the government and we were recruited on the same day, he joined on 12th August and I joined on 16th August because I was working with some other organization and I wanted NOC from them. But we started a career together and we were given the position as lecturer. In those years, UGC wanted to change the nomenclature of the position of lecturers. So we all were involved in giving the suggestion to the UGC. So there were 3 levels, lecturer, reader and professor. Then later on they changed lecturer into assistant professor and then reader as associate professors. We were associate professors before that and he has become professor and now from associate professor I have become principal. So now I am in admin, they are in academics. But a person who is there in the admin as far as education institutions are concerned is also an academician. Because I have taught here first. Yeah. So this is the distinction that I wanted to clarify to you. So looking at the program that you have conceived, you have divided, classified, distributed among yourself and done the homework on it, prepared for it. Seems to be logically highly aligned. She started with a person who showed a great interest in physics and then how the entire journey was narrated in a beautiful manner. In fact, let me tell you what happens. Nobody works for fame and whosoever works for fame will never get the fame. But the people who work with a passion, after they have gone, their name is always, we can say, coined. Because people see how that person lived a life. Like Mahatma Gandhi. When Mahatma Gandhi was a leader, he never realized that, he is being praised by the whole community, the whole India, and even across the globe. Because he had to fight with so many leaders in his lifetime. Even with Jinnah and with so many leaders, Jawaharlal Nehru was there, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and thousands, even the Subhash Chandra Bose also. They were colleagues, they were all fighting for India, but their methods were different. Gandhi's approach was non-violence, whereas others' approach was not so, we can say, subtle like Gandhi's was there. Everybody played a role in a very different manner, but we know them based on their work. So they never wanted fame for themselves, but they worked and as a result of that, they presented themselves as a role model without knowing themselves that they are the role models. So please keep on working and the way the whole group is working, I am saying you are a learning community. Now I will denote you as a learning community and the way you distribute the pieces of the academic work that you need to take from Bombay Teachers Training College. You know how to organize, how to advance it, how to distribute it, how to plan it, how to present it. So in a very sequence manner, you introduce the concept, then Ashlesha came and then she gave the scientific explanation about the structure of an atom and then how some of the characteristics and how these characteristics can be utilized to we can say do the nuclear fusion and fission and get the energy out of it, green energy. And definitely you were successfully able to, I think Gayatri was able to distinguish the pros and cons. That was a fantastic thing and I was the fortunate student like you. In 1990, my department head, when I was about to complete my master's program in science, they organized a visit for 10 days, industrial visit, whereas I was a part of a team who visited Kalpakam. Yeah. So I was highly inspired by that visit and we visited many such institutions, Indian Institute of Science, we visited in Bangalore, Kalpakam I was there and there was one factory in Tamil Nadu where gripe water was being manufactured and we could see the whole functioning live Nowadays you can see it on the YouTube. But those days YouTube was not available. So we went in person, and South is really amazing. My God, an amazing place to visit. The kind of food that they eat. Tomato rice, lemon rice, everything. My God. So we went to Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Orissa, and we visited many temples also. So it was a mixture of the kind of visit. And it was, I consider those days were very blessed. Where I had wonderful colleagues to live with them, and I cannot forget those days. And the similar lines.
We have also gone together with TIF.
Yeah.
2007 or 2008.
We will arrange one more visit for
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think you must have a good time at Nehru Science Center.
Yes, sir.
All of you had good time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So, actually I had taken a dose of antibiotics today. So, but I took it last night. But it was so heavy. So even when I was sitting over there, I was dozing continuously. And it was very difficult to sit in. But today I had made up mind that whatever happens, I won't leave the chair and listen to you all. The reason is that listening is my first passion. Even as a student, whenever I used to sit in the classroom, many times teachers used to observe and say that, Mr. Barani, आपकी आँखें बंद हो रही हैं. Then I used to tell them that there are chances that my eyes are closing, but my mind is open. You ask me any question, I will answer that question. So this is what the God gift I consider. This is God gift. And even many people say it's a boring lecture and all. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that any lecture can be boring or rubbish. No, it can never. Because in my lifetime, I must have listened to the thousands of the people. And I haven't criticized a single person. The reason is that, positive thinking, that whatever is the communication may be known to you, communication may be simple, communication may not be so effective, so what? But from each of the speakers, you can take something or other. I'll give one example. Many things might be known to many of us because we have gone through this. And many things, we might have forgotten also, but you refreshed everything. As far as the life of Dr.Homi, Bhabha, the JRD, their contribution, everything you refreshed it. Now, what will happen? The shelf life of my memory will go up. Shelf life. I use the word shelf life. Now it will go up to it still need 15-20 years. So whenever I will speak about Homi Bhabha or JRD or Vikram Sarabhai or any other scientist, those will be stored. And this is a natural process. I am not going to much work hard on it because those are registered in my subconscious mind. So this helps. So none of the sessions, even your eyes goes off also. But your mind is on. Your subconscious mind is on. It keeps on receiving the information. Don't switch off. Even your eyes goes off. You are a teacher and you are teaching in the classroom और आपको लगता है कि बच्चा सो रहा है तो physically his or her minds may be off, but mentally, this is my observation, many of the children, except if they go totally off, but many of the children, their mind is open and they are listening to you. If you want to do a research on it, observations, and if you want to talk to the people, please do that, you will learn. Because it is very important for a teacher to learn, okay, how do students sustain their interest in the classroom, their level of attention, their level of interest, their level of, we can say, being more curious towards learning, is very, very important. Now you mentioned you all have reported 9 a.m. Look at almost approaching 2:30 to 3 o'clock, and many of you are going to stay back also. It's not easy. The most toughest task is to sit for the longer hours in the classroom, listen to the people and learn out of their experiences. Most toughest thing. But that can be done very easily with a very cool mind. Sit, don't be a critic. Many times I heard you boring and no, don't use the word. So what happens the moment you use the word boring, no? So you are putting that word in their mind. Something is not boring also, then it starts becoming boring because you are acknowledging that. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
आपने सोना देखा है? सोना ज्वेलर्स देखते हैं, वो मार्क लगाते हैं ISI, this certified, but in spite of that वो भी cheating करते हैं. But what is the impression that people has got?
Hallmark, it's good quality because of the mark.
Are you getting? Go and purchase the product having ISI mark. वो पैसा देते हैं. Many. I don't generalize it. Many ऐसे लोग traders करते हैं because I know some of them. उनको ये चाहिए तो. Some of genuinely, they make their products if they are not ISI mark, but their products are very genuine. And some of the products which you think are genuine are not genuine. I can give an example of a ghee. Ghee आप लाए हो बना से? Go and bring the ghee and taste it. 99% samples will fail. I am not naming any of the brand. I have experience. You have seen honey?
Yes, sir.
Bring honey of any brand. You will find sugar in it. You
Yes.
can extract sugar from it.
Yes.
Are you getting it? So I am talking about branding. So now rather than saying you must brand your lectures, you brand it because you study it, you internalize it, and while delivering you do it with greater level of confidence and conviction. Do not put use the words which may arise any kind of doubt in the student's mind. Never do that. And you will be a different person to be listened to. The children will look at you, children will listen to you like anything. Today I enjoyed a lot. And after I have walked from that place to your place, gradually my eyes are opening, my mind is more opening, and I am feeling more refreshed. Just reflect my voice when I came and I started addressing, and now you will find a difference in that. Now this energy comes. How does this energy come? Because you have put more energy. You have invested in energy. You have transferred that green energy to me. You have given me more energy. That's why I am able to stand over here and speak to you all. So I am very happy to see you all in very good numbers, and I have been getting a lot of updates about your enrollment, about your attendance, your involvement in all activities of competitive study college. I want to speak to you what you are going to do during your Diwali vacation. So please do not only focus on your vacations. If you have planned it somewhere, you can go over there. But apart from enjoying your vacations, how you can yourself get involved in the process of learning or doing something significant for you, for your neighbors, for your community, please give a thought to it. Colleges is always open. College is only closed for 3 days, 24th, 25th and 26th only. Otherwise, I will be there. All the non-teaching staff will be there. Some teaching staff will be there. Librarian ma'am is also there. I will request you to make maximum use of the college resources. If something is there in your mind, please come to me or come to us, discuss your plan and do something different which you may would like to do it voluntarily, not mandatory. Not taking much of your time. This vacation is approaching and I wish you happy festivity and a great time ahead. Thank you all.
Sir, you are invited tomorrow also. You forgot the after.
Yes, I love to be there in the class. I want to spend a good time with you all. Because ultimately I am also a learner like you, I need more inputs. I want to listen to you all because मेरा CPU जो है, what you say, hard disk, the cloud. I want to fill that with the information that you are going to share it with me, and I want to learn a lot. A little feedback on Kahoot. Most of the questions were knowledge based. So if you can convert those as understanding based, application type ways, or which may create critical awareness, will be appreciated. So next time, please be very careful and include very challenging questions. And I think that rather than you, the students will enjoy the most. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And so tomorrow, sir, when they are going to do the activity, they are using the rough page. One-sided tail page and the finished page. Any other help?
I want to the beautiful brochure you have made.
Yes, sir.